Alright, I wanted to make a quick kind of rundown tutorial video on how to change the water outlet in the 1.4 liter turbo Ecotec engine. This engine's in a few different GM vehicles, such as the Gen 1 Chevy Cruze, which that's what this car is, the Chevy Sonic, the Chevy Trax, and I think it's in the Buick Encore. It may be, I don't know, don't quote me on the last one, but I know it's in those first three vehicles for sure. The factory water outlet is a plastic part, and like a lot of the components in these cars' engines, they're made of plastic, and plastic, of course, does not last, and it does break, and it does get brittle over time. And once it breaks, essentially what's happening is your car's going to lose coolant. It's not going to circulate it. It's going to leak, and it's going to overheat. You're not going to have heat. You're not going to have AC. It's going to be a bad deal. And if you keep running it like that and it's overheating, you're probably going to end up blowing your head gasket, damaging your car's head, and it just being a bad deal. So if yours hasn't broke, it's something good to do for preventative maintenance. And just a quick little side note on the preventative maintenance: when you replace this water outlet right here, you're also going to replace the expansion tank recovery hose. I don't know why they call it that, but that's what this thing is. The ZZP calls it, and I'm pretty sure that's what GM even calls it. It goes from the top of the water outlet over there to the coolant reservoir. But it's actually quite simple to change out. It's not that difficult. It might seem a little intimidating, but it's honestly not. You kind of just need like basic tools, and I'll run down those real quick. The first thing I always do when working on anything on a car, I always disconnect the negative battery terminal. There's some people that don't, or say you don't have to. It's your prerogative. You can do what you want to do on that, but I do. That's always the first step. I'll give a quick rundown on the tools you'll need. You'll need a extension, a 5/16 or 8mm socket, whichever, a pick or small flathead screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, a socket wrench, and a pair of pliers. I loaned out my set, so I got to use vice grips for the demonstration, but if that's what you have, they'll work as well. And you're going to want to have a drain pan, because when doing this, you will lose coolant. So after you disconnect the negative battery terminal, if you want to, you're going to want to take your flathead screwdriver and disconnect your charge pipe or intake tube, whatever you want to call it, from the throttle body, and you just disconnect it right here at this clamp right there, and then you can just simply move it to the side. After that, you're going to want to take your pliers or vice grips, take them, and then you're going to want to disconnect this top hose and then this radiator hose, this one and this one. Then once that's done, you're going to want to disconnect your recovery tank hose. Well, if you're going to change it out, which I highly recommend you do so when you change the water outlet, you're going to take your pliers, disconnect it here up top, and then you're going to use like a flathead screwdriver, and then you want to pull out this pin. Just stick it in there and pull it out, but don't lose it. So find a magnet or something and pick it up, or pull it out with a pair of pliers, maybe, if you have a needle nose set that's small enough. We're moving on. After that, you're going to take your 8mm or your 5/16 and put it on an extension, and put it on these three. I don't know how well you're able to see it, but it's like right. Okay. They're like right. Damn it. They're right about there, if the camera will focus. It's three of them around the water outlet. And then once that's out of the way and all this stuff is out of the way, you're going to take, if you have small enough hands, you could use your fingers, but I used a pick. You're going to want to take your pick, flathead screwdriver, and there is a sensor right there. The camera will focus. It's really bright out. I'm sorry for any glare, but there's a sensor right there. You're going to take your pick or flathead. There's a sensor right here. You're going to take your pick or flathead, or your fingers if you can reach it, like I said, and disconnect it. And once all that's done, you can pull the old water outlet off and repeat the process. One thing I recommend you doing before replacing the new aluminum water outlet on your car is take like a wire brush and make sure the area and the surface is nice and clean, just so you have a nice secure contact with the side of the engine block, your new aluminum water outlet. I know this wasn't the best video or the most exciting, but these cars, it's a common problem, and I wanted to make an actual how-to video on how to do it, and I did make that, but it got deleted. So unfortunately, I kind of had to do this quick brief rundown and walkthrough. I will leave a link down in the description below to both the water outlet and the expansion tank recovery hose. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comment section below. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you want to see more Ecotec content, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching.